I think we're just getting started here. It is day one of the Quiet the Contention workshop, and I am Amanda Walker. So we're just going to take a minute or so to make sure that everything is sharing across all the different platforms. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay. Awesome. Welcome to day one. Okay, so as you hop on, please say hi to me. Give me some emojis. Let me know that you're excited to be here. Tell me if you're watching hashtag live or hashtag replay. And just let me know that how you're feeling about today, about day one. We're going to do our first day, which is crazy hair on fire to calm and in control. I see lots of people hopping on. This is wonderful. Let me just double check on my phone here. See how all this is going. Okay, where am I live? Okay, here we go. Looking for my live. It's coming up here. Okay. Okay, let me know. Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. I'm so excited. Yay! I can hear you. So excited about today. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for everyone too. I love doing this workshop. And so I'm imagining all of you guys. We're in this amazing room together, and I can see your faces and I can feel your hearts. And really, so many of you have shared with me and my team what you're really struggling with. And I'm excited to be able to help with that this week. Really want you to dig in deep and make sure that you do your homework. That's going to help you get results and help you really shift your mindset this week, because that's what we want. We want to help you in your home to quiet the contention with your uniquely wired child. So let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Amanda Walker, and I am a learning and development coach and parent educator to parents of kids who are uniquely wired. And when I say uniquely wired, these are the kids that really don't fit into the parenting box. These kids oftentimes are very, very strong-willed. They can be aggressive. Oftentimes they might be on the spectrum or have a diagnosis of ADHD or ODD or some other of those different diagnoses out there. And so the normal rewards and punishments don't really work. These kids oftentimes are into a meltdown before we even can think straight. And so we're helping these kids, really trying to solve what's going on. How can we help our kids really thrive, and how can we quiet this contention? So I'm super excited to be with you here today. Good morning, everybody. You may need to give me permission so I see who you are. And oftentimes that would be right there in the post. A lot of times when I stream through here, you have to give me permission so I can see who you are. Okay, so as everyone is hopping on, let's see. Oh, here I am. Awesome. Very good. We are live. Hi, everyone. It's so good to have you. Excited. Yay. So great. Good morning, Amanda. I'm tuning in this week, ready to catch all I missed the first time. Yes, we have lots of people that have been in the group, but weren't able to watch all the workshop, and now they're here again, and they want to really dig in deep, and it might be their time, because you know what? Life just happens, and especially with COVID, and so many of us are at home, working from home, helping our kids school from home, and life is just even crazier than before. We don't have as many outside activities, right? Those things have changed, but now many of us have our kids in our homes, and we're trying to figure out how to help them thrive in their school, right? And try to just help each day to just survive sometimes each day. Good morning from Santa Clara, New Mexico. Hi, hello. Thank you, Jen. I made it on. Hi, everyone. Hello. Jalixi, hi. I can see Jalixi's name. How can I make it so you see me? You know what? We're not going to be able to see you tonight, however, on the live coaching. It's going to be in Zoom. So that coaching tonight at 8 p.m. Central. I'll be able to see you. It's going to be in a Zoom room. I will also stream it live into the group. So if you can't make it or you would rather not be in a Zoom room, you can watch right from the group. So at this point, you just get to see me, and I'm just imagining all of you right in front of me and really talking to you heart to heart today about what we have planned. So I wanted to quickly remind you tonight at 7 o'clock, if you aren't able to watch all of this, there is a watch party at 7 Central Time, and Jen, who's one of the coaches on my team, she will be in there answering your questions live. And then at 8 o'clock, tonight through Thursday night, so Monday through Thursday at 8 Central Time, I'm going to post the link and you guys can hop into the Zoom room and I will be able to answer your questions there. We have an hour of coaching, so we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Usually about 4 to 5 people with a question is what we can get to in an hour. But honestly, if we have more questions than that, I will try to fit them all in. Okay, so the live coaching is really, really valuable because you get to hop in there, see what it's like to work with me and to be on a group with other parents who are really in the same situation you are. So you don't feel alone. So you know that you're a part and that there's lots and lots of people here to support you. You know, thousands of you have signed up for this workshop. I'm excited to have you here. It is an awesome, awesome day. So thank you for joining us. Okay, so let's just quickly, everybody should have received the workbook, okay? If you signed up as a VIP on my messenger, I sent it through there. And I also sent it to all of the emails that I have. Facebook is being a little wonky this last 10 days, which happens, and a lot of people have not been getting on my email list. So if you have not gotten the workbook and you want it, you're not getting any of my emails, please hop into the messenger and then just message me your email address and I will add you to the list so that you can get this workbook, okay? Because we're going to go over this today and get started on day 1. Okay, so welcome everybody. How many people out there are parents? How many are teachers? How many are therapists? Can you tell me in the chat which one you are? Are you a teacher, a grandparent? We have a lot of grandparents oftentimes in here. A teacher or a therapist? I'd like to know who is with us today. I'm seeing a bunch of people's comments, but I'm not seeing your name. Hi, Shayla. Parent, awesome. Parent. Cool. Me. Okay, cool. Oh, this is so much fun. Okay, I'm just going to double check that we are live everywhere else. Going to look on here. Make sure. Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, welcome everybody. So good to have you. So let's get started. So this week is really, really exciting. I want to go over the next 5 days of the different topics that we're going to be going over. And these topics are powerful and these are based on principles to help your family thrive. So on this workbook here, the front of this, I'm going to do a quick screen share so you can see the one that I'm looking at. Let's see here, quick screen share. Okay, so let me know. Can you guys all see this? Let me see if I can go to full screen. All right, so here is the screen share. Here is the workshop. Okay, so it's going to be every day this week, Monday through Friday at 9 Pacific, 10 Mountain, 11 Central, noon Eastern. And today is Crazy Hair on Fire to Calm and in Control. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing the ninja trick to stop behavior challenges. And this one is really, really amazing. This has made such a huge difference in the lives of the families that I work with, and they're uniquely wired kids. So this isn't a way of recognizing where these behavior challenges are coming from that most parenting courses do not talk about. On Wednesday, we're going to go through the radical reframe and being able to see with fresh eyes, to be able to look at your child's behavior and to be able to reframe it so you understand what's really going on. And when you know what's really going on, you are actually able to help your child. You stay calm in the moment, help your child to regulate themselves and help them to succeed where they're going to be able to do these things all by themselves eventually, right? They're going to become independent and empowered so that you don't have to constantly feel like you're just running around with your tongue hanging out and your child is out of control, right? We are here to help our children really thrive. And through the Quiet the Contention workshop, we are able to help you with that. On Thursdays, we're going to be talking about powerful tools to actually help you become an expert behavior detective. So each of our children are so unique that the reasons and why they are feeling challenged, are having a hard time, or having meltdowns, or being aggressive, right? If they're super hyperactive, we can discover what's really going on so that we can help remove those stressors or reduce them for our children. Okay. And the last class is building your family team for lasting success. The big goal in all of this and the big secret to all of this is to building a family team. How do you create a family team so that everybody's on board, so that everybody wants to follow the rules? And you can stop behavior challenges really in their tracks, and you can help empower your children to be able to self-regulate with ease. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to me again. Awesome. Let's see who has hopped on here. Oh, awesome. Replying to Facebook users, 6 other teachers sitting in. Well, hello. It's a whole group of teachers. It's great to have you. Yes, so many of my students are teachers and they just need the support. How do I help these uniquely wired kids in my classroom, right? How do I help my classroom have greater peace, greater confidence in the kids and understanding, right? How do we help them really thrive? Because, 1 or 2 kids in a classroom that are really struggling can throw the entire classroom off, right? It just can be really struggling. I work with a lot of counselors, so that really want to help those kids who are struggling in school. And so I will give you some great things this week. So stick around and make sure you do the homework. It'll make all the difference. Okay, so everyone who does do the homework, it's going to be posted at 11:30 in the thread, and we're going to get to our day 1 really quick here. Make sure you do your homework, post it in the homework thread, and you will be entered into winning a prize each day. And I have some options on what you could win. You could win the Sensory Motor Mini Course. You can win the templates for the sensory pathways. There's a number of things that you can choose from. So I'll pick one person each day to win that has done their homework from the previous day. And those who are really, really excited about this and really want to have huge impact in their homes and their classrooms, you do the homework every single day. On Friday, I will draw a name for someone who can work with me, private coaching for 3 months. So that will be really exciting. Actually, it's a part of a group coaching program, but you get to work with me personally for 3 months. So I'm super excited about that. Everybody who's won that has been incredibly engaged, and it's been very powerful, and we would love to have you in our full program. Okay, so here we go. Hello, everyone. Hi, Maria. Teachers. I'm still just seeing you. I don't see the screen shares. Okay, so maybe you guys didn't see any of the screen shares. Okay. Well, I'm not sure why you didn't see that. Okay, real quickly, all of the videos will be available in the unit section. So right above the header are some little gray buttons, and one of them says units. You click on that and you will be able to watch the videos that we've already recorded at your convenience. So don't feel like you have to be here live, though I love you being here live because the interaction is really great. So the homework is due before tomorrow's live. So as long as you get it in before tomorrow's live, then you will be added to so you'll be added to the drawing. Okay, so you have till tomorrow at 11 to get your homework done. And it's pretty straightforward, simple homework, but extremely powerful. Okay, so let's see. Let me double check here. One more spot. I know there's a lot of housekeeping on day one, so thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. Okay. Cool. Hi, everyone. So is everybody a part of the Whole Brain Connections group? Because some of you are on from my business page. So if you have not, make sure that you go ahead and join the Whole Brain Connections group. And that's where the unit section is. Okay, so if you're watching me on another platform, that's where you want to go in, and that's where you're going to be able to watch the videos. That's where you're going to see the homework. Okay, so that you really need to be a part of that group. Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. So good. Arish Adnan. Hi, Arish. That's so good to see you. I see so many people here, but I don't see your name. Hi, Maria. I don't see your name. So we've got occupational therapists. We've got grandparents. Yay. So awesome. Okay. And here's Doreen. Hi, I can't watch the video on Facebook. Okay. Some of you aren't really even on Facebook, and it depends on if you're able to get on there or not. So needless to say, then it's so good to have you guys. Okay, so let's get started on day one. Okay, so on our workbook, let me double check here. Cool. I'm going to double check my emails. Okay, so I want to go over just a few wins today. That's one of the things I love to do is go over the wins each day just a little bit, so you guys can feel encouraged and know that there is hope and that there's great opportunity in applying these principles. So cool. So Heidi Franklin says her win today is my son used his words at dinner to express how he felt. He looked at a book before bed, and when I asked him to, he helped his little sister in the car today. So Heidi, that's an awesome win. I'm so excited to hear about that with your children, because sometimes our kids really don't get along, and oftentimes our kids really don't want to follow instructions. So that I love hearing that that's happening for you. Paula's saying both of my boys got up on time, got dressed, had breakfast, etc., and got in the car without a battle. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to hear that, Paula. So often it is a battle in the morning to get our kids up and out to school, isn't it? Especially when they're uniquely wired and they might have some sensitivities to clothes or their socks or eating or food or things of that nature. I'm a teacher and I had to be at work before 8, and we got to school before 8, and I told them how happy I was that they cooperated and helped us get to school on time. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Paula. We need those days. We need more and more of those days, don't we? Nicole says her son has been fighting us on drinking more water. Today I learned he doesn't like our fridge water dispenser. It's hard for him to do, and that it makes him not like water. So I'm ordering him a small water jug. I can feel that he can easily pour water from and into his cup. Oh my goodness. Nicole, I love that you found out what was really going on, right? Sometimes we think our kids just aren't following our directions or they don't want to obey, but oftentimes there's actually something else that's going on underneath the surface that if we can get a bit curious, we can actually find the solution to that. So I'm excited for you, Nicole. Wonderful. And I'm sure that many, many teachers have these kind of things as well, where they're finding little things that might be behind a child's behavior. Let me take a drink. I like my pickle jar. Yeah, it's not pickle juice, so I just reuse my jars. My 4 and 6-year-old helped me make a morning and bedtime routine chart yesterday, and Monday and morning today went great. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That is good news. Okay, so let's get started. Tell me if you can see my screen because it's saying, okay, application window. Tell me if you can see my screen. Can you guys see my schedule here? Tell me in the comments, please. Can you see this schedule for the Quiet the Contention workshop? Okay, so somebody said yes, 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 yes. I'm getting yeses and nos. Oh my goodness. That is a stinker. Okay. Let me try a different way then. Okay. No, the schedule. Nope, I can't. So somebody could see me. I can now. Yes. Okay, so how do I get rid of that now? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's see here. I'm just going to show it to you then because for some reason it's not working. Okay, let's see. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. This is from the workbook. Okay, so I sent this workbook out, and this is called the Parenting Influence Pyramid, and this really goes for teachers as well. Okay, so if you have your workbook, pull it up on your computer, pull it up on your device, and just listen while I chat with you about this. So the Parenting Influence is an extremely powerful tool, and I learned it from the Arbinger Institute. And what it talks about is oftentimes, if you look here at the very, very top, oops, it says correct the behavior. Many of us have a child who is misbehaving. We have a child who is struggling, a child who's having a meltdown, or they're being aggressive, or they're not listening. Maybe they're back talking, right? Maybe they're just extremely angry. We don't know what to do about it. Oftentimes, we just try to, number one, try to correct the situation right there. Correct the issue, okay? We want to just stop what's going wrong. We don't want it to keep happening, okay? But here's what I want you to know. In this pyramid, there's different layers, as you can see, okay? We have right under correct says teach and communicate. So if your child will not receive correction, either because they won't follow the correction or they maybe start arguing back or they refuse to do it, right? Some kids will have a meltdown. Some kids will get aggressive. They might be hitting people or hitting things, right? So if you're not able to correct behavior with your child, the solution to that is going to be found in the level right below where the problem is. So if your child won't receive correction, then the solution is going to be found in the level below, which is to teach and communicate. So oftentimes our kids may not be doing things correctly because they might not have been taught how to do it correctly, right? Have you ever said, go clean your room, and you go in there and nothing's been done? Well, some kids really need it broken down. And so if they don't have it broken down, they're not going to be able to do their bedroom, right? So we need to teach them and to communicate with them, because sometimes our lack of communication or their understanding, whether it's a visual routine or just us talking to them about it, They might not know. Now, if our kids are not open to us teaching them or communicating with them, then the solution to that is found in the level right below that, which is listen and learn about the child's world. Oftentimes, our kids are not open to be taught, are not open to communicate because they don't really feel heard or noticed, or sometimes even a part of the team. So, this area is an extremely, extremely important key to this whole program, which is about listening and learning about the child. So often as parents, we kind of want things to just happen quickly and we want to solve a problem really fast. Or in a classroom, we just want to find the solution, give it to the kid and move on, right? Well, oftentimes kids who are uniquely wired, kids who may be on the spectrum or have some other challenges where, or they might be gifted. They might be so incredibly intelligent that nobody can get them to do anything because they'll outsmart everybody, right? So these uniquely wired kids really, really want to feel understood. So often, many of them feel like, the world just doesn't work the same for them as it does for everybody else. And so it can be really overwhelming and frustrating for them. So when we take the time to listen and to learn about their world, to really ask them curious questions about what's going on, as we start to learn about what's going on, we're going to be able to help them to be able to do the things that they need to help there be more peace in the home and help to have be able to problem solve, because so many of our kids really are not great with frustration. They're not great with problem solving themselves, right? They have added stressors in their bodies physically as well as in their day-to-day life. So the more that we can learn and listen to our kids, the closer that we will be and the more that we'll understand their situation. Now, if our kids don't even want us to hang out with them or aren't interested in communicating with us, maybe they don't know how to, or they feel uncomfortable, or they don't know what to say, then the solution to that will be found in the level right below it, which is build a relationship with the child. And the way that we build a relationship with the child, number one, is through connection. As human beings, we are social creatures. We need connection to feel like we belong, to feel safe, to feel open to learning and sharing and growing. And when our kids feel disconnected from us, it's hard for us to help problem solve with them. It's hard for them to communicate. It's honestly hard for us to communicate in a way that we're happy with, right? Because when parenting isn't going the way that we want, when our kids really are out of the box kids, it's very easy and quickly, it's easy to get frustrated really quickly. And I just want you to know, parents, that it's not your fault. It's not your fault. This is something that I want you to know, that your child is unique and there's a unique way that they need to be parented. And so that's why I started this workshop, is to help parents and teachers really reach their kids and to be able to help them thrive and help their families have more confidence and peace. Because so often we just feel like we're in chaos all the time, that there's so much contention and there's a crisis in the home because we don't know what to do with our children. They're upset. They're throwing a fit. They won't do their school. There's all of these things going on, right? And so the first step is to understand this parenting influence pyramid. And this idea is that the more connected, the more that you listen and learn about your child, the more influence you'll actually have with your child, the more they'll actually want to listen. And the more that you listen to them, the more you'll understand what their needs are, so that you can help meet those needs and then help teach them how to meet their needs as well. Okay, so this next part, building the relationship. If your child is not willing to build a relationship with you, if things are so strained and so challenging right now that the child is not open to building a relationship with you, then the next level down is building relationships with other parents who have influence with the child. So this could be a teacher, this could be a counselor. If this is if you are married, or this could be your spouse, Building a relationship with the other adults in the child's life so that you can work together as a team to help reach this child, to help teach the skills that may be lacking in this child for them to really thrive and to really be happy. Okay, this might be the child's teacher that you need to talk to about their school and how much they can really do online each day without them feeling like they're a failure. I mean, no kid wants to get online and feel shy and want to hide and then, doesn't feel comfortable talking online. Like so many of our kids are struggling because of online school. And so working with the child's teacher or your spouse to get on the same team so that you can help this child and build that relationship, because unless the child feels safe and really heard, it's hard for them to be able to learn the skills and to meet the needs that they have, and really, really thrive. Okay, so the last one here is, if it's hard for you or you're not able to build a strong relationship with the other adults in your child's life, you need to look at the very base level. And this is really foundational to everything that we do in here. This is called your personal way of being. This idea is, how do you show up in your family? How do you show up in your classroom? Right? What is your personal way of being? Do you approach your uniquely wired child with a heart of peace or with a heart of war? And oftentimes, when we can just recognize if we're coming from a place of peace or if we're coming from a place of war, we're going to get a totally different reaction from the children that we work with or with our child. Okay, so at the very deepest level on this pyramid, where all the strength and foundation comes from, is right here on our personal way of being as a parent, as a teacher. Okay. And what we want to do, actually, if you look on this pyramid, we want to spend most of our time in these lower portions here. We don't want to spend a lot of time up here correcting. We want to spend our time in these lower portions helping things go right. And during this workshop, I'm going to show you the things to do to help things go right. So just stay tuned. Make sure you watch each of the videos this week. They are transformational, and I love sharing them with families, because this pyramid, just in and of itself, I've heard many times how this pyramid, understanding these different levels, has transformed their families and the way that they interact with their children. So I want you to think about which area here do you feel like you need to focus with your child? Or if you have a few children in your class, which level do you feel like you need to use to reach that child? And where are you at here? Okay. And so for today, since it's crazy hair on fire to calm and in control, we are going to talk about you and what you and I can do to help be calm, to help be in a place with a heart of peace, to help these children when they are melting down, right? Because I hear time out of hundreds and thousands of people, I just want to help my child be able to calm themselves down, to help regulate themselves, to help work through the challenges and the problems, and that I just need that support and that help. And so the key to that will always be ourselves and where we're coming from in our heart and how we are calm and in control ourselves. And so if you look at the very bottom of this workbook, which I wish I could show you and share. Okay, let's see all these people. All right. The very bottom part here says ABCs of behavior and relationship. And I want you to know what these ABCs, the ABCs of behavior and relationship, it's really the key to strong relationships and improved behavior. And it's awareness-based change. So you can write that there in your workbook. Awareness-based change. And throughout this whole workshop, and really in my full program, we come from a place of awareness. The more that we can practice being in the present moment, being aware of where we're coming from with our child, the greater influence we will have on them and on the situation. When we are out of control, when our hair is on fire and we're yelling and screaming and overwhelmed and we just want to run out of the door and not come back for a few days, that's totally normal, number one. It's hard to be a mom. It's hard to be a mom with a uniquely wired child. It's hard to be a teacher in a classroom with 30 kids where, you have 8 or 10 of them that are uniquely wired and you're trying to reach everybody. So can be so frustrating. And so I want you to know that you're not alone and that your child's behavior is not about you. It's not about you. And we're going to learn that this week. Okay? You are not a bad parent and your child is not broken. All right. Your child is unique. The children that you're working with are unique and they have unique needs and unique skills that oftentimes they need to acquire so that they can really, really thrive. Okay. So number one, awareness-based change. How do we learn to be aware of in the moment? How many of you guys do any sort of awareness training or meditation or mindfulness? I'd love to know in the comments if any of you guys practice meditation or mindfulness or awareness training. Okay. I want to know, number one, if you've done those things. And number two, let me know if this is resonating with you. Do you have any questions about what I've shared so far about the parenting influence pyramid and how at the very top, we oftentimes are very tempted to just try to correct the situation and just want our kids to do what we ask the first time and to not ask questions and to just, not make these, just to follow directions, what I've said. And oftentimes they don't. And so there's all these different levels that we can help tap into to find the solution for our children to really help things go right. Yoga's a great one. I try, but I get interrupted constantly. Oh my gosh, is that not the truth? I have a calming strategies poster with calming activities. That's wonderful. We're working on mindfulness. Awesome. Please send me the email. Cool. I did yoga and meditation before March, but that's all changed. Hasn't that changed for so many of us? Yes. Yes, I feel I expect too much. Yeah, oftentimes we expect too much from our kids and more often than not, we expect too much from ourselves, right? So the goal of today is to really help you tap into this awareness-based change. Okay, so that's we will refer back to the parenting influence pyramid more this week because it's really foundational for what I teach. So this next one, this is the next page. It's called Survive and Thrive. Okay, on this page, I want you to think of one behavior that you would like to change in your child. You can just put it on a piece of paper. What one behavior, if you could fix this, would make a huge difference? Okay, yes. What one behavior? And go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. What's one behavior challenge that if you could fix it, it would make the biggest difference in your home, in the environment, with peace? Awesome. See, lots of yoga here. Stop the meltdowns. Thank you. Good. Let's see. Whining, screaming, meltdowns, stop arguing, aggressiveness, finish schoolwork, yes, running, defiance, listening without talking back, anger, meltdowns, aggression, yeah, being respectful. Yeah, how many people relate to these? If you didn't put this in here, arguing, if you didn't put a comment in here, how many of you relate to these things, right? We really are there's a crisis, I believe, in the world right now. And our kids do not fit in the box. They do not fit in the normal authoritarian parenting box. And so oftentimes we feel like we lack the skills to be able to help our children. and they just get out of control. And then we feel out of control, right? Yeah, melting down, screaming. Stop the elevated anger and outbursts. Yes. So everything I show you, this is the workbook itself. So if you're not on the email list, please go ahead and message me or Jen Kornman Chase, and we'll get you on the email list and send this out to you. Okay? Stop arguing with me and do schoolwork. Yes, that is. Listen, I'm a mother of 6, and I've homeschooled for 18 years. So I've been working with my kids at home for years, and I have to tell you, it is very, very challenging, especially when you're working as well. So my heart goes out to so many families who are working from home, who are schooling from home, right? And I just want you to know that the skills and the principles I'll be teaching this week will help tremendously with what's going on in your home today. Okay. And just in life right now, especially with online schooling. Okay. Lots and lots of great things. Sitting still during homeschool, meltdowns. Yes. Disrespect. Using words to express wants and needs. Replying. Yes. Talking back. Doing chores without having to be reminded. Too many to pick just one behavior. Oh, don't we feel like that sometimes? Yes, totally. Anger and being able to get my toddler to not act like an angry tornado, to sleep in her own bed and at a decent time. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to be talking about an incredible trick. It's not really a trick, it's a tool that helps our kids calm their nervous system, get them calm, and help them sleep better. So that's going to be really exciting to talk about tomorrow. Okay. So the next thing I want you to do is on this here, it says, when you are triggered, how do you act? Okay. Let's just tell me in the chat, when you are triggered by your child's behavior, what do you do that you would like to stop doing? Yeah, what would you like to so what is your when your hair is on fire and you are triggered, what is it that you do that you would like to change? Let me know in the chat. If you want to get on the email list, then just message me on Facebook under Amanda Stout Walker. Okay, that's how you can message me. Awesome. Yell, I holler, screaming back and lose my temper. I get really intense. Like my kids know. They can look in my eyes and know, oh my goodness, mom is not happy right now. I withdraw. I raise my voice. I become angry. Yeah. You get instantly frustrated. Stop yelling. Become frustrated and lose my patience. Yeah. Reacting in less than a positive manner. Screaming, yelling, and I cuss. Yes, yes, I know. And we don't want to do that, do we? Well, I'm going to teach you something today that's going to be very, very helpful. Okay. And here's the thing I want you to know. When our children are out of control, at some level, we as parents are also, if we are out of control, then we are not modeling what it is that we want our children to do. And it's really hard for our kids. And I'll tell you why, because we're going to talk about this, is that our kids regulate with us. We teach our children, starting from little babies, how to regulate themselves so that when they're upset, how to calm themselves down. When they have something they need, how to ask for what they need. Okay. And I want to ask you, moms, how many of you are good at asking for what you need? That can be a major struggle for moms, to ask for what you need, right? Before you get told, before you just blow your top, right? Yeah, they totally do. They know what's going on. So we know that the way that a mom is feeling and acting really has a major effect on their child, right? So that's why today is really about you. Okay. So you wrote down how you got triggered and how you act. Okay. And I want to tell you in this, we're going to talk really quickly about neuroception. And I want you to understand this. It's really, really powerful. Neuroception is the brain and the body's ability to determine the safety and security of an environment of people. Okay, neuroception is the brain and body's ability to determine the safety and security of an environment of people, and that includes in our homes. Okay, so we have this innate way of recognizing, is it safe in my home? And that can be safe from expressing myself. That could be feeling safe from the stressors that are going on in my life. If you're a uniquely wired child, your child has additional stressors and things that are challenging for them. That is not the case for most people. Okay. So there's 3 physiological states, and you can put them down here in this little box. Okay, there are 3 physiological states, and they're important to understand. The first state is called social engagement. Social engagement is when a child is feeling safe, is feeling calm, and they can be around people and interact and communicate in a healthy way. Okay. If your child does not feel safe for whatever reason, if that could be because of sensory, because of a diagnosis, because of the stress that's going on in the home, with schooling at home, with maybe the stress at school, there's all sorts of things. And on day 4, we're really, really going to dig in deep to help you become that behavior detective so you can start figuring out what these things are. But social engagement is really important for us as human beings. When we're socially engaged, this is when we oftentimes will eat. We feel comfortable because our digestion is actually working, and we feel comfortable sitting around and visiting and looking at people in their eyes, and we're able to read their facial expression. This is when we're feeling safe and secure. Many of our uniquely wired kids do not feel safe and secure in the classroom, in the home, generally across the board, for many different reasons. For some kids, it might have been that they were adopted and they have trauma in their background. For some kids, they might just have some sensory challenges, things that are just overly sensitive about. For others, they might feel like they're the only one in the family that doesn't fit in. I'm the one kid, I'm the one person in this whole family that is always getting in trouble, that doesn't fit in, that's always struggling. What is wrong with me, right? Those kids might be asking those questions. So it's hard for them to be in that calm place of social engagement, especially kids who are on the spectrum. So many kids who are on the spectrum have a hard time even looking in people's eyes, hearing what they have to say, because they are in a constant state of fight or flight. And with that, I will talk about the second physiological state that all human beings can be in. Right? First is social engagement. The second one is fight or flight. This is the feeling of ready to pick up and run away or to fight. This creates anxiety in our kids. This is when, if there was a tiger in the room and this tiger jumped up, you would go into fight or flight, your muscles would contract, and you would be ready to run. Okay? When we're in fight or flight, all of the additional blood source and energy goes to the out extremities so that you can fight or you can run. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is that we don't really feel like eating when we're in fight or flight. Think about the last time you were extremely anxious and overwhelmed and frustrated and worried. Oftentimes we don't feel like eating because our digestive system isn't really working. We need to be more calm, or we're anxious and we think, if I eat a little bit, I'll calm myself down, right? And that's the reason for eating. So our kids, when they're in fight or flight, they are not able to self-regulate. They are not able to work through problems or to stop yelling or to not be sassy, because when they're in fight or flight, they do not have access to their upper brain. Fight or flight is really down in the lower brain, where we're just trying to survive. We're picking up on something and we do not feel safe. And so we react in a way. We might hide. Okay. We might run away. We might yell and scream because we feel like we need to protect ourselves. So when we can recognize when we are in fight or flight, or when our kids are in fight or flight, then we can help them take steps to get into a calm and in control place where we feel socially safe and are able to engage. Okay, so there's the 3 physiological states. We'll talk about the third one. The third one is freeze. For some of our kids, when they go into a place that they do not feel safe, or maybe they're asked to do a problem or something in school and they don't know how to do it, or they're so overwhelmed that they'll just freeze, or they'll go hide somewhere, or they won't engage at all. Okay, and in that place, there's very little that happens except for just surviving that moment. So, do any of your kids go through this? Have you seen your child in fight or flight? Have you seen your child in the freeze state? Does that happen to them? Okay. My 5-year-old has autism and KBG syndrome, and my other twin might be on the spectrum too. Yeah. So they found that kids who are on the spectrum are almost always in fight or flight just because of the wiring of their brain. And there are ways, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow, where we can help calm and connect the wiring of the brain for our uniquely wired kids. Okay. Today we're going to talk about you. Tomorrow we're going to talk about your child. My youngest is on the spectrum. Thank you. I started giving my twins Sensory Thrive supplements. We're on day 2 and they are doing better. Good. I would love to know what those are. Share those. Make sure you share those in the group. The fight or flight makes so much sense to how my youngest is. Yes. So it's not conscious. When our kids are in fight or flight, they actually cannot access the problem-solving part of their brains. They actually can't access the learning parts of their brains. So if you have a child who's in fight or flight, just when you even say, okay, it's time for online learning, and they go into fight or flight, doing school for that time, it's going to be so hard because they can't actually access that part of the brain that helps them understand and make the connections and to solve the problems. So we really have to help our kids get out of fight or flight into this place of social engagement so that they can actually tap into the learning centers of their brain. Okay, so I'm going to teach you some things today, and these are things that you can also do with your children. But tomorrow I'm going to teach you a technique to help with your child specifically to help calm and connect their brain. My oldest does the fight or flight. He runs to his room. Yes, and that is not necessarily, that can be part of the solution for him is I need to go somewhere where I feel safe. I need to go somewhere where I can cool down, right? And we do that as parents as well. It's like, I need a walk. I got to go to my room for a little bit, right? When we're in fight or flight or we're frustrated or our hair is on fire, we want to go somewhere where we feel safe and we can calm ourselves down. And our kids need that as well. Okay, cool. I have one on that's Asperger's, ODD, and OCD. Yes, uniquely wired, aren't they? Very often my 6-year-old seems to feel like everyone is against him. Yes. Listen, my daughter who is uniquely wired, that is something that she gets really easily offended and feels like people are against her. So yeah, I totally understand that. And here's how I see it. If you're the one kid in the family that doesn't make the connections, that just doesn't understand things innately like everyone else, and you feel like you're the odd man out, you feel alone. You feel bad. You want to understand what everyone else understands, and you want to get along like everyone else gets along, but you just don't. And it can be really hard on their confidence and really hard. And it can keep them in a fight or flight all the time. Like quickly, they'll go to fight or flight when that's how they're feeling about themselves. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Cool. Yes, my 14-year-old is like that. I have a feeling that my toddler might have ODD. Replying, against him. Yeah. My oldest gets in the freeze state when she comes up against something she doesn't know or if she thinks I'm not understanding her. My 5-year-old is definitely fight or flight when being told what needs to be done, even though it's not what she wants. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a way, and I will talk to you about that this week, of approaching a situation that might have been kind of negative, and talking to your child outside of that situation to be able to address what's going on when they're in a place that they feel socially engaged, where they feel safe, where they feel like they're not in the middle of this triggered event. So a lot of times I just try to help my parents help their child get to a calm and in control place. And then outside of the moment, even sometimes another day, you can talk about what happened and get curious and ask them what's going on and how you can help them better. Okay. My son actually ran from the school building. Yes, that is his way to find safety and protection. So there's a number of stressors that we're going to be talking about over this week. When you can identify those stressors and you can communicate with them, with the other adults in that child's life, you're really going to be able to help them succeed more. They're going to be happier. They're going to be able to learn more, and they're going to be able to, their behavior is going to improve. Okay, so let's see here. Fight or flight. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So when our kids are triggered, and they're in fight or flight or freeze, it's really, really hard to be able to reach them. They can have meltdowns, and they're overwhelmed, and they're frustrated. Hold on one sec. Go out. I have a couple kids in here, and now they're making lots of noise. So, well, one's offended that I said that. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. So I want to teach you these 4 steps to go from crazy, hair on fire, to calm and in control. And I'm going to show you how this goes. So there's 4 steps to this. I want to show you this paper here. And here's up above here, awareness-based change. And these are the 4 steps to go from calm or from crazy hair on fire to calm and in control. The first one is to push pause. And I have a good friend of mine that taught me, I don't have my pen. Oh, my pen is, here's a pen here. A good friend of mine taught me this, where she basically draws a pause button right on her hand like this. You guys see that? So she pushes pause. When we can begin practicing pushing this pause button, when we feel triggered, when we feel like our hair's on fire, okay, we push pause, we're able to stop for a moment and to just breathe. I know it sounds so simple, and it's like, how could that really be the solution? But here's the thing. It will always be the beginning of every solution. Pushing pause and breathing. So I want you to do that with me because I could use that a little bit. Okay. Push your pause button. Take a nice deep breath. Let it out. And just notice as you let that air out, how it helps calm you already. Okay. So here I am doing this presentation. There's a lot of energy going on, lots of questions and comments, and my kids came in for a minute and I told them to leave, right? So all of this stuff. When we can stop for a moment, push pause and breathe, we are able to create a little bit of space between us and the challenge, or us and our child's meltdown, between us and the fact that they will not do their schoolwork, right? So we push pause and we breathe, okay? And then the goal here is to really connect with ourselves, okay? This is an opportunity for us to go from fight or flight to social engagement ourselves. Get ourselves out of the lower brain and get to our learning brain. Okay. So this push pause here is for you as the parent. This is not for you to do with your kids yet, because every child is different. No child wants to be told to calm down. They don't know how to calm down. If they could calm down, they would calm down. Okay. So we have uniquely wired children. We have children that have a hard time navigating life. And so we need to model to them what it is, what self-regulation looks like. Okay. What does it look like for mom to be upset and then push pause, and breathe? Okay. The next part is to connect with ourselves. And the last part is to listen. When we push pause and we breathe and we connect and then we listen, we are going to know what our next right step is. And honestly, the only place that we can truly live life, the only place we are living life is from this present moment. This moment. When we are suffering, when we're frustrated, when we're overwhelmed, the majority of the time it's because we're thinking about what happened in the past or we're worrying about what might happen in the future. Even if you're sitting there with your child and your child's happy, right? And they've had a long history of meltdowns and frustration and yelling and not obeying. We can actually taint this moment when our child is doing well because we're thinking about the past or we're worrying that it's going to happen in any moment and we're walking on eggshells, right? So the greatest thing that we can do is to tap into this awareness-based change. And the way we do that is by pushing pause here, pushing pause, breathing. Connecting with ourselves and just noticing how we're feeling. Where are we frustrated? Where do we feel the tension? What is hurting? What is overwhelming right now? And if we can come to this moment and come to the senses that we're having, then we can hear the next right step. Okay, so I want to show this to you again. And that's the 4 steps that's on your paper. Number 1 is to push pause. Number 2 is to breathe. Number 3 is to connect. And number 4 is to listen so you can hear the next right step. I want you to know that no matter what has been going on in your home, no matter what has been your challenges or your history, that from today, it can change and it can become better. And key to that is you learning how to regulate yourself in the moment. Now, is every moment going to be easy? No, of course not. It's very challenging. But as parents, it's really our job to lead out in this. Our kids, when they're born, we teach them by rocking them, by holding them, by shushing them, by talking to them. That's how we help regulate our babies. And our kids, actually, until about the time they hit puberty, they actually need help self-regulating. They don't know how to do it very well. And so if we don't know how to do it very well, then we need to start practicing that ourselves. Does this work with husbands with anxiety and mental illness? Yes, absolutely. They might need other supports, but yes, this helps calm the nervous system. So I'm talking about neuroception. It's the part of our nervous system that can recognize if a situation is safe. And if it's picking up that it doesn't feel safe, and that could even mean that mom's stressed out and overwhelmed, has a huge effect on our homes, that our kids cannot feel safe, right? So we want to help ourselves go from crazy hair on fire to calm and in control. How do you regulate yourself when your child is aggressive? Number 1, you have to come up with a safety plan. This is a plan in which if your child is aggressive or can hurt other people or themselves, you have to set up a very clear plan to make sure that the child is actually physically safe and others in the home are physically safe. And then you have a plan to get yourself into a place that is calm and in control. And then you can address the aggression. Here's what I want you to know. All behavior is communication. In fact, I have another one I want to show you here. Misbehavior Let me show you this one. Misbehavior right here is stress behavior. When our kids are aggressive, there's something going on that's triggering the aggression. And when we can get to the root of that, then we can help the aggression disappear. We can help totally reduce the meltdowns. When we discover what's really going on, then we can help solve that for our child and help our child solve that so that behavior can improve, so that they can sit and listen and do their school. Okay? So when a child is being aggressive, you have to create a safe environment, and then you get to practice yourself getting calm and in control so that you can start addressing the issues outside of the moment with your child who is aggressive. In the moment, when they flip their lids and they're in fight or flight, they're not going to hear you. They do not have access to their brain to be able to solve problems. And for some kids, they just have to get it out of their system. Okay. There's so much hormones pulsing through their body. They have to literally burn it off. Okay. So stick with me through this whole 5 days. All right. And I will give you the tools to be able to help any child who is struggling, any child who is having a hard time. Okay. All right. So we talked about the 4 steps to go from crazy hair on fire to in control. Okay, and we're almost finished here. I want to teach you a couple things that I do to help calm myself, and over time I've taught them to my children. The first one is called the high five. And this is really great for smaller kids to help really pace the breathing. So you put your hand up like this, and all you do is as you go up the finger, you breathe in. You stop and you breathe out. You pause and you breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. Pause. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. Pause. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. Pause. Breathe in. Pause and breathe out. Okay. So that high five gives you, as the mama or the teacher, 5 good deep breaths to help get you out of fight or flight and into the thinking part of your brain. Okay. I already can tell a difference. Let me know, for you that did do the high five, could you feel a calming effect happen? Could you feel a calming effect as you were doing that breathing? For some kids, for you to say you need to calm down, let's breathe, they're not going to like it. For some kids, they'll be totally open to it. For other kids, it might not go over well. But don't lose hope. This is for you to practice, because as you are able to be calm and in control, you're going to be able to be curious, and you're going to know what the next right step is so that you can help your child in any situation. Any situation. I promise you that these can seem so simple that it almost feels useless to do them. And I just want you to notice if that little annoying negative thought is in your head, or that I've heard this all before. This never changes. This is just, I've tried all these things. They don't work. Those types of thoughts are very, very tempting, because it's our brain's way of saying it's better to just stick with what I know instead of trying something new that may not work. And if it doesn't work, I might be so disappointed that I would have rather just not tried. But I want you to please just notice if the thoughts are coming up, and I want you to practice this, okay? Because this is part of your homework tonight, okay? Okay, good. A lot of you guys felt the difference. Good. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you are very welcome. My husband and some of my kids will fire back when I say calm and breathe. Yes. So nobody wants to be told to be calmed down. Okay. Nobody wants to. So think about it. If an adult came into the room where you're at and they said, listen, you just need to calm down because you're just out of control. The majority of us would not be happy with that and would not be interested in what they had to say. So here's the thing. What you're doing is you are modeling it. You are doing it. You are getting into a calm and in control place so that your family sees that. And when they see that over time, they're going to be more curious about how can we do this as well? Or what are you doing, Mom? Because you're not freaking out anymore. You're not yelling and screaming as much as you did. So many of my my clients use this and their families transform. Their families like, oh my gosh, this is totally working. This is really making a difference. And now I want you to remember, this is only day 1 of 5 days. There's so much to teach you. And because we had so much housekeeping to do and I couldn't get the screen share to work, which is just how lives go. We've gone over just a little bit for today. So let me show you your homework. So for those who just need to hop off and go, and then I will answer a few questions afterwards. So let me tell you what your homework is really quick. And it's already posted in the group. So if you hopped over to that. Okay, so day 1 homework and is number 1 in your, there is a page that you can put up and I printed it for you. I made it for you because I thought it would be helpful. If you see right here, this is a gratitude and a hashtag win list. Okay, I want you to print this out and I want you to put it up in a visible place. Okay, if that be in your bathroom, if that be on the kitchen, on the fridge, somewhere visible. Each day, I want you to add 5 things that you're grateful for. And I want you to find 1 or 2 things that you catch your child doing good in the day, whether that's putting their dish in the sink, whether that is helping with a sibling, if that's picking up their toys, if that's saying thank you, even the very smallest things. I want you to find at least 1 or 2 things that you can catch your kid doing well and write it down on the list. Okay, this is to start a habit in you to open up your vision of the world. When we are in fight or flight or we're overwhelmed and we're stressed out and our kids are just out of control and we don't know what to do and all we do is yell, being grateful, they've done loads of studies on it, but being grateful really, really expands your view. So instead of having tunnel vision, you're starting to see the things that are good that are happening around you. Okay. So post 5 things that you're grateful for and catch your kid doing 1 or 2 things that are good during the day. Okay. Then I want you to think about, hey, what's my calm down plan going to be? Right. I have a couple more things I wanted to, a couple more activities you can do. What's your calm down plan going to be? Are you going to go in your room and do some breathing? Are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to stop, push pause? Oh, here it is. Breathe and listen. Okay. There's a couple other things I wanted to teach you, but I'm going to say the last thing of the homework is, where on the parenting influence pyramid do you feel like you need to focus? And I want you to put these answers in the homework thread. Okay. What's your calm down plan going to be? What level of the parenting influence pyramid do you need to focus on first? Okay. And post visibly the gratitude and the hashtag wins in your house somewhere. Okay. You can take a picture of it and post the stuff that you wrote down as your homework, or you can just type it right in the post. And everybody who does their homework will be entered into a drawing to win a prize tomorrow, which is super exciting. And so let me show you now a couple more things to help calm you down. There's one called Brain Buttons. And if any of you guys have ever done Brain Gym, it's a really powerful movement-based activities. But one of the things that I love to do is called Brain Buttons. So if you have your collarbone, and right below your collarbone are a couple little divots kind of right underneath your collarbone here. Okay. And what I do is I just rub those and do nice deep breaths. Now for you, they might be kind of tender. So just be gentle with yourself. Or you can just hold them if you don't want to rub them. Awesome. So those are called the brain buttons. We did the high five breathing. And then the next one is, and this is one of my favorites, it's just called self-empathy. This is where, for my own calm down plan, I'll go in my room or go somewhere privately and I'll put my hand on my heart. And I'll basically just say to myself, this is really hard right now. My child's really upset and I don't know what to do about it. I will basically speak the things that are on my mind. And I'll acknowledge to myself that it's hard to have a uniquely wired child that may be aggressive, or might be overwhelming, who might have lots of meltdowns and yell and scream at me, or won't get off of the devices when they're supposed to be done, won't do their schoolwork, all of these things. Okay? It's really hard right now. I say to myself, you're doing better than you think you are. Other things I'll say is, the answers are coming. And sometimes I'll get emotional. I'll actually cry a little bit because there is so much stress and pressure as a parent sometimes when we're working with kids who are really challenging. Awesome. Okay. This is looking good. Yes, I did. That's the last thing around here to say. Yeah. Yeah. Don't tell people to calm down. No, it's far more powerful for you as a mother to practice these principles that you want to teach your kids. And one of the things I say is you and then them. You practice these tools openly. I often don't even say anything to my family. I just start practicing them. They become a part of me, right? I really build that strong foundation of the pyramid. My personal way of being, we go back to this pyramid. The very bottom is my personal way of being. Approach the relationships in my life with a heart of peace. How do I get myself to a place of heart of peace? Then I will be able to access the learning centers of my brain and I'll be able to receive inspiration on what to do. I want you to know, and I want you to know this for sure, that it won't be like this forever. If you apply the principles that I teach you this week, you will have dramatic results. And the first one is to get yourself calm and in control. Practice the things I showed you when you need it. When your child might be having a meltdown, I would say push pause and breathe and just get to your place, to a calm and in control place, so that you can help get curious and figure out what's really going on with your child. Because your child's not just throwing a fit. Kids want to do well if they can. They want to do well. They don't want the trouble. They don't want the fight. Nobody likes that. They might feel like they're not safe, and so they're going to defend themselves. But they want to do well if they can. And so many of our kids don't know what's really going on. And it's our job, when we're calm and in control, to help discover what those things are that are stressing them, that are getting in the way of them having the skills that they need to be able to calm down, to be able to know what's going on, to be able to, stop behavior from even happening. Okay. But you are the key. And I want that to be inspiring to you, not overwhelming. Because it can be overwhelming to think, oh my gosh, I'm one more time the linchpin in the family, right? But I want you to know that that's the power that you have as a mother and as a teacher, is that as you get into a place of being calm and in control and recognize my kid is not trying to give me a hard time, my child is having a hard time. My kid is not just lashing out, they are reaching out for help. Our kids' behavior is telling us that something's not going right and they need our help. The way that we can help them the best is by getting to a place that is calm and in control so that we can show up for them in the best ways possible. Okay. I missed whether you answered this one, Irma Avila Davila. I teach my grandchild that he can trust me, so I try to communicate with him as well as I can. I feel like we have a relationship, but how can I build a better relationship? We will talk about that tomorrow, and It's about connection. It's about spending time each day with your child, doing something they enjoy for 5 to 10 minutes a day. Okay, the greater the connection you have with your child, authentic connection, they're going to recognize, oh, mom cares about what I care about, right? I'm listening and learning about my child. Because sometimes our uniquely wired kids constantly have negative interactions with people. They really need to rebuild that. They need to have more positive experiences with one another, and so that can start feeling safe. Okay. This is making me cry right now just practicing. Yeah, it is really hard. Is it okay to acknowledge that there is no answer? Yeah, I don't have an answer yet. Absolutely. I'll tell it to my kids often. Listen, I don't know how to solve this, but we're going to solve it together. We're going to get on the same side of the problem and we're going to work on this together. We're not going to be against one another, right? And the way that I can get on my child's team to really help figure out what's going on is I have to be calm and in control. Yeah. These are great questions. Today we learned about the International Day of Peace, so all this fits great into it. I'm going to teach him these and see which one he likes best as well. Awesome. I'm glad it's the International Day of Peace. I love it. Let's see. This is the best class I've taken. My husband needs to watch this. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. It really has gone longer than I meant it to go. Yeah, this is the hardest and biggest issue in the house right now. Yes. So here's the thing. You've got to lay this strong foundation. Remember, print out this workbook. Print this out. Refer to the parenting influence pyramid. This is how you're going to have greater influence on your child. This is how you're going to help your child. And it's really setting a really strong foundation and using awareness-based change. You've got to be aware of what's going on. If you're just reacting like your kids, you just keep rolling down the same hill. You've got to do something different. And that starts with you. And I know it's counterintuitive and you're almost like, I just need it to be solved. I don't want to just breathe. I get it. I totally get it. But the truth is that principles are things that you practice doing. It's something you have to become habitual at, to get better at. The more that you know how to get to this place of calm and peace and confidence, the more you're going to help reduce the contention, reduce the outbursts, reduce the aggression, reduce the challenges in the home and in the classroom. Okay? So let me see if there's any other questions here. I'm listening to your class, but I don't have the worksheets. Me and my grandson bump heads a lot. Okay, well, just make sure you message me inside of the group and give me your email and I'll add you to the list. Or maybe I'll just post it. Maybe that would be the easiest thing. That's what I'll do. I'm going to post the workbook right inside of the group in the files section, and then I'll do a post on that. Okay? I'll post the workbook inside of the group. So if you didn't get it through email, you can print it off right inside the group. My husband asked Austin, why are you being bad? Yeah. Our kids are not being bad. Our kids are doing the best they can. And I want you to know this. You are doing the best that you know how. Up until this point, you are doing the best that you know how. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Oh, thank you, Jen. Perfect. There's the link. I should have posted that like a while ago. We're always learning stuff, aren't we, Jen? Yes. Okay, this has gone way longer than I expected. Please do your homework. Make sure that you get it in so that you can be in the drawing for tomorrow morning. You just have to get the homework done before 11, and then we'll see who's on there, and I will draw a name, and make sure you do this homework. I want you to get results. I want you to take action on this, okay? Apply it in your classrooms. Okay. All right. Well, maybe we're just at the end. Okay. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for being here on day 1. You take care. Bye, everybody. Make sure you practice and do your homework. See you later. Bye.